and welcome back to my homestead. Today again I'm in the kitchen because I'm going to be making plov, but not the common plov that we all know, which is the Uzbek plov. I'm going to link that video up here, which there's meat, there's carrots, a lot of onions, some spices. This is not that plov. This plov is Azerbaijani plov. So again, if any of my Azerbaijani friends are watching me and you see me making mistakes, please forgive me. I'm actually not Azerbaijani. I am Russian. So I'm going to be making my version of plov. So for this plov is very different. The cooking style is different. The only maybe that's in common is the fact that we need to wash rice. And I'll show you how I wash it with 3 different waters, draining, filling it up again, and draining again until the water comes back clear. But everything else is different and the ingredients are very different. So let me show you what we will need for this Azerbaijani plov. For this recipe, we're gonna need long type of rice. So not short grain at all. So look for something long grain rice. So this is basmati rice, and this is going to be perfect for this type of plov. So I have my rice soaking here in the cool water, and actually you may even salt this water right now if you like. But I'm definitely going to salt the water I'm going to be cooking it in. I'm going to need some potatoes. And again, you would say that's a very interesting rice dish that's going to require potatoes. Yes, but I'm going to need potatoes and they're going to go in the bottom of the pot. I have some beef here, and traditionally Azerbaijani plov is made either with lamb or beef. And I have some beef here, very large onion, butter, exactly, funny stuff. This is not cooked with oil, it's cooked with butter. And if you have clarified butter, even better, but I just have unsalted butter. Then I'm gonna need lots and lots of dried fruit. Can you see a pile of my fruit here? And you can use as little or as much as you want, and you can combine what you like. I have some dark raisins, yellow raisins. I have, these are chestnuts. They're already cooked and I'm going to be chopping them. Then I have some dried plums and dried apricots. So they are very large, and obviously I'm going to be chopping them into smaller manageable sizes. And I already have some boiled water ready, because before I use them, I'm actually going to put them in a little container and all of my dried ingredients here, except for chestnuts. I'm going to pour some boiling water over them, because that is going to rehydrate them a little bit and remove a little bit of sweetness, because this is not supposed to be sweet rice. It's just the ingredients. So if you don't have some of these ingredients, it's okay. You can omit them or add a little bit more of something else. Now, let me tell you about this Azerbaijani plov. The first time I ate it, I was quite amazed because it was so fluffy. It was, oh my goodness, so fluffy, and I absolutely loved it. And I was also in awe how the sweet ingredients of dried fruit were combined with savory of meat. Now, I'm not going to be putting actual meat into my plov. The meat will be cooked with onions separately, and it's served separately. But once you put it on the same plate with your rice, with the plov, it's so good. All right, so I just poured all of my dried fruit here, some boiling water, just to cover and let them sit for a little bit. Here's another very important ingredient, and that is saffron. And I know saffron is very expensive, so we literally just need a pinch, a small pinch. And again, I'm going to cover that with boiling water, about 1/4 cup. And that's going to sit there and create beautiful saffron water. Okay, so I'm going to start by cooking my meat. Again, I'm not going to be serving that, it's not going to be cooked together with rice, but still. So the skillet it's a very deep skillet, is warming up, and I'm just going to be putting a couple of tablespoons of butter, because that is basically in this pilaf, everything is cooked on using butter. Makes it so delicious. So if you have clarified butter, even better, but regular butter will work as well. So first things first, I'm going to be browning the beef, okay, in butter. So I want to make sure that each piece gets nice and brown coating on each side, and then I will add the onion. So here's how we cut the onion. The onion is actually going to be cut in slices, okay, so like half moons. And it's not going to be in very big fat chunks because you want this onion to melt away when it's cooking with beef, but at the same time to maintain its juiciness. Okay. I'm going to be cooking this rice in boiled water. So I have a pot of boiled water here, and I'm going to salt it very generously because this is the only time that we're going to be salting this this plov. All right, so the water is boiling, and I'm going to be adding the rice, washed and drained rice, into the boiling water. So I'm just going to stir so nothing falls to the bottom. And now I'm going to cook this rice. But here's an interesting thing: this rice cooks only for a few minutes because it's not going to be well done. It's going to be what Italians call it al dente. It's going to be cooked only 70% done. All of the water will not be absorbed, and we're actually going to strain this extra water. Okay, I'm going to strain. Whew, a lot of steam. Okay, strain this bad boy. So my beef is nicely browning on each side. Look at that, isn't it gorgeous? And I'm going to turn them to the other side. And only at the end I'm going to salt and add a little bit of pepper because I don't want the juices to leak out. This plov is made for special occasions because beef is expensive. Beef was always very, very expensive growing up, and this plov was made only on a special occasion, like someone's birthday, Christmas, New Year, very big holiday. Okay, so at this point I'm going to be adding a little bit of salt to salt the meat, okay, some black pepper to taste, and I'm going to be adding some turmeric. Again, how much to taste. Don't put too much because sometimes if you put too much turmeric, it gets that chalky taste on your mouth, and it's something you don't want to do. Ooh, I think that's enough. All right, at this point I'm going to be adding the onion, and it's a lot of onion. Okay. Onion is going to give out its juice. It's going to create a lot of delicious juice, and this meat will stew together with onions for the next 15-20 minutes. I will put a cover on to make everything nice and soft. So the onion got much softer. It released some of its juices, but I feel like I want to add just a little bit more water to the bottom of this. Okay, just a little bit, and I'm gonna put cover on and let everything stew and make the steak come out nice and soft and juicy. So I'm gonna be cooking the rest of this plov in my thick, big cast iron kazan. Isn't it beautiful? So I'm just gonna rub a little bit of butter on the bottom because I don't want anything to burn to the bottom. So let me show you what's gonna go on the bottom of this kazan. It's something a little unusual. Okay, so do you remember these potatoes I peeled? Well, I have how many potatoes? I have 5 potatoes. Well, I'm gonna need these potatoes, and I'm gonna cut them long ways, and I'm gonna cut them quite thick. Probably like, I don't know, what is this? Half an inch maybe a little bit less than half an inch. Thick slices, because that's what's gonna go on the bottom of my kazan. Okay, and that's how the rice will not burn. So I know that Azerbaijani recipes sometimes call for make special dough, and you line the bottom of your pot with that dough, or with bread such as naan or lavash bread, something like that. But I really like how I had my my plov that I had the first time was made with potatoes lined on the bottom, and potatoes cooked nicely and developed that beautiful yellow crust on the bottom. And that's what I want to do again. Okay, so now it's time to assemble this pilaf, plov. On the bottom of my kazan, I'm going to be taking this thick pieces of potato and lining them all through the bottom of kazan. Okay, again, if some of my Azerbaijani friends see me do this, you guys know that you can also line this with plain dough or with naan bread or lavash bread. But I am Russian in heart, so Ukrainian, so I'm going to be putting potatoes, because life is boring without potatoes in my culture. All right, so I'm just lining everything up, okay, with some potatoes, just like this. I think I'm gonna change this potato here. All right, so everything is lined with potatoes, nice and nice. Okay, now I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of salt. Why? Because potatoes like salt. They don't like to be totally plain. So just a little bit of salt on the bottom, okay? How much? To taste. So then I have my almost cooked rice, but not exactly. And I'm gonna just shake this on the bottom, okay? Like a layer of rice on the bottom. All right, so we have a layer of rice. Then remember my dried fruit? I strained the water, and I added my chestnuts in here as well. And I'm gonna take that and just sprinkle throughout. How much or how little? It's up to your taste, guys, really. All right, then I'm gonna be sprinkling more rice. All right, and again, more of my dried fruit with a little bit of chestnut. All right, and then the last layer of rice. All right, so I'm just gonna make sure that everything is like in a dome shape almost. Okay. All right, I'm gonna finish it again with a little bit more of my dried fruit and chestnuts. All right, so now, do you remember that saffron water we made? Look how beautiful it became. Nice, beautiful golden color. Oh, and it has that very unique saffron smell. All right, I'm just gonna sprinkle that around as well. Let that marry together. Oh, yes. Okay, and now we're going to finish with more butter. How much butter? Again, this is not a low-calorie dish at all. So you just either pour clarified butter, if you have clarified butter, or what my American friends call it, ghee. It's the same thing. But I'm just going to take a little clumps of butter and place them throughout. Some Azerbaijani people like to add it at the end, but I'm going to add it now. Oh my goodness, it's going to be wonderful. All right, so now I need to put a cover on and turn the heat on. And there's just something special about the last step. So I'm gonna turn the heat on and it's gonna cook on medium heat, okay? But here's the kicker. This is how you put a cover on. See, normally if you just put a cover on, there's gonna be some condensation, which is gonna drip back into the rice, but not this plov. I'm gonna take a clean towel. I'm going to wrap the cover with the towel and I'm gonna place it on top. So which means that no condensation will drip back into the rice pilaf. Mine will be done in about 40 minutes. And then, it's amazing. So by then the meat will be done and the rice pilaf, the plov will be done. And I'll show you. Okay friends, so Azerbaijani plov, my style, is done. Let's take a look. All right. Ooh, look at that. It's beautiful. Oh, it's so fragrant. So now I'm going to be serving everything and it's fluffy. Oh my gosh, it's like air. It's literally like air. It's so beautiful. So I'm going to be piling everything in the serving plate of your choice. And what was on the bottom will end up on the top. Okay? Unbelievable. Oh, it's beautiful. The colors are absolutely beautiful. Okay, let's see. Let's see what the potatoes look like. Yes, baby. See, they took the brunt of the heat from the bottom, getting that crust on it. So if you use some sort of naan bread or lavash, thin lavash bread, that would work as well very nicely. But since I have my Slavic blood running through my veins, I can't help it but to put potato, because I think potato is a wonderful base for this bad boy. I'm excited, people. I'm gonna try to make it prettier. Well, I will have to do a little taste, but before I do that, let me show you what goes around it. So now, if you want to, you can take the meat that we cooked and you can put that around it as well. I'm gonna serve it actually on a separate plate because I don't want the juices to mix. I'd rather have all of these juices of meat to mix on your plate rather than here. So, but let me give it a little taste, because sometimes subscribers tell me, well, how did it taste? How did it taste? You didn't tell us how it tasted. So I'm gonna taste it for you, okay? Ooh. So I'm gonna taste it. Okay, I'll take a little bit of meat, a little bit of juice of the meat. Here's my fork. Let's take a look-see. First of all, it smells amazing because saffron has that amazing aroma and this dried fruit added beautiful aroma. Oh my word. Guys, this is like the fluffiest rice you have ever eaten in your life. This is the best thing. Oh my word. So friends, if you're sick and tired of the same old rice over and over again, try to make rice this way, my way. You can put as little or as many of dried fruit you want to. But friends, I encourage you to try something different. Be encouraged to cook other ethnic dishes. Try something new.